So if I could ask my panelists to go ahead and respond to those prompts and we can get some sound checks going.
Good morning, Kimberly. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Monet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Kimberly. This is Andy.
Good morning, Andy.
Hi, Kimberly. This is Adam.
Good morning, Adam.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kristine. I think we're all here, Andy.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And I'd like to call to order the August 19th meeting of the zoning administrator. My name is Andy Gustafson, and today I'll take us through this agenda. This is a remote meeting, and we are going to hold it as we would any other face-to-face meeting. We have our agenda and we'll go through the items in order. Today we have a new element to our agenda that we'll go through. I'll explain shortly concerning zoning code interpretations. But before I do that, I'd like to just review with you the way in which public participation occurs in this setting. As we go through the agenda items, I'll call upon staff planner, the project applicant team, and the public in that order to offer comments. And when I do, please either use the hand icon symbol to be acknowledged and be able to speak. You'll have to unmute yourself. Or if you're on the telephone, I don't see that we have any callers, but should someone call in, press *9 and you'll be recognized and be able to speak. So the first thing we do is offer opportunity for the public to comment on a matter that's not on the agenda, but within the purview or authority of the zoning administrator. If you wish to make a public comment, please raise your hand and you'll be recognized. Seeing none, I'll now move to the next item, which is our new feature on our agenda. From time to time, we'll be having zoning code interpretations. And today we have two. The intent of this is to provide opportunity and notice to people interested in a variety of interpretations that might come up of our zoning code. And today we have two, as I mentioned. One is a zoning code interpretation of our outdoor lighting ordinance. And the second is a zoning code interpretation regarding our allowed land uses and permit requirements for industrial districts and the definitions of terms regarding cannabis processing facilities. So what I'd like to do is to ask those of you who are in attendance, if any of you wish to speak to that matter, please raise your hand and we'll be recognized. If not, and I see none, I'll close this part of the agenda and let you know that anyone in attendance on these two items and also these public meeting items that are coming forward, you do have a 10-day appeal period, and I need to look at my calendar to find out when that concludes. It's typically the Monday following the week after the hearing, which would be August 30th. So by the end of the day on August 30th, if you wish to appeal a matter that's heard or decided on at this meeting, please contact the project planner and find out how to do so. Okay, so now we move on to our first scheduled item for this meeting, item 4.1. It's a public hearing on a minor hillside development permit at 3957 Rincon Ridge Drive, and the project planner is Monette Shekali.
Good morning, Mr. Gustafson, and thank you. I'm going to share my screen right now. Okay, there we go. So, okay, good morning, everyone. The project before you today is a public hearing. As Mr. Gustafson mentioned, this is a minor hillside permit for the property located at 3957 Rincon Ridge Drive. The proposed minor hillside development permit is to make minor changes to revise the plans that previously were approved, to incorporate the open porch into the primary residence on the northeast side of this residence. And that enclosed, like the porch that is enclosed in that area will encroach into the area with slope more than 10%. And also this permit will include an addition of 140 square feet cantilever porch, and also some modification to the pre-fire driveway layout. I'm going to explain each of those changes with detail in my slides. So here where the project is located, the general plan land use is a very low density residential, and the zone for this project is PD, which stands for planned development, and the site is located in RC, Resilient City Ordinance. Here is the pre-fire lot. As you can see, the location of the house and the driveway access from the Rincon Ridge. So the driveway access from the Rincon Ridge will stay at the same location. There are some modifications made to the house location. I will also show the detail, and the original house was also a 2-story house, and the new proposed one is going to be a 2-story also. So these are the views from the street for the previous house. From the street around the house, Rincon Ridge and Chandler Circle. As you can see, the house was screened by some trees and landscaping. And here are the street views from the new house. Most of the trees were destroyed and burned because of the fire, so you can see the 2-story house more visible. And here I'm trying to explain what's happening. So on the left side, we have the pre-fire house, which was 4,322 square feet. And on the right side, we have the new proposed house, which is 4,565 square feet. As you can see, the driveway still at the same location, but there is a circular driveway proposed for the lot. That area is still going to be flat, pretty flat, and it was already disturbed. The new garage will be also extended, but still going to be on a flat area. So there are some additions to the house. I'm going to also show what are the changes. So when the building permit was submitted for the construction of the house and it was approved, it was 4,206 square feet. Is being shown on the right side in the slide. So this is what it was approved. Then the applicant asked for a modification to the approved building permit. I'm trying to show both of those changes in the red rectangular. So as you can see, there was an open porch on the northeast side. So the applicant has decided to enclose that area and incorporate it into the house, and also proposing to add a cantilevered porch. This enclosure expands the size of the house from 4,206 square feet to 4,565 square. And the only area that's going to be on a slope more than 10% is the green triangle. I'm trying to show it here on the left side. That area is the only one that will disturb the slopes more than 10%. The porch cantilever will not disturb the slope. So here again, as you can see, the area that will be disturbing the slope more than 10% is a small triangle at the corner. The rest of the house will remain on the area that was already disturbed and doesn't have slopes more than 10%. Okay, here I will try to show what's happening in the elevations. So as I mentioned, let me see, okay, the green areas are the areas that will be on a slope more than 10%. As you can see on the elevation, the porch is cantilevered. On lower right side, I'm trying to show in the where the house is proposed and where that addition will be. The proposed enclosure will not increase the height of the existing house. However, the foundation for the enclosed addition will increase the apparent height of the building from the street. And also the majority of the driveway area is on an area with slope less than %, and it was already disturbed. So here is another elevation. It shows the location of the cantilevered porch and where the foundation will be disturbing the slope more than 10%. A notice was sent to neighbors within 600 feet, and an on-site site was also posted. I have received one email from a neighbor opposing the proposed project. The comments are that the provided materials submitted for the review are insufficient, and they need to provide complete assessment of the adverse visual impacts of the proposed project on adjacent properties and homes, and the hillside permit should be comprehensively assessed by the City of Santa Rosa in full compliance with CEQA, including a complete visual analysis. Also, there was a request from the same person that the zoning administrator should hold the hillside permit application until completion of the comprehensive visual assessment of the proposed project and re-evaluation of the CEQA compliance for the project based on the additional information provided by the visual study, including all reasonable mitigation measures to minimize the adverse visual impacts of the proposed project on the public and the adjacent homeowners. So this project has been reviewed in compliance with California Environmental Quality Act, and it qualifies for Class 3 exemption under Section 15303, in that the project consists of minor modification to an existing single family. Also, a condition has been added to add more landscaping along the property on the Chandler Drive to screen the new foundation. And with that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator by resolution approve a minor hillside development permit for the property located at 3957 Rincon Ridge Drive. And that was staff presentation. My email address and information also are on this page for anyone who wants to contact me. I'm available. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Manette. I don't have any questions about your presentation. I now have offer the opportunity for the applicant and their team to respond or add more information. If so, if you wish to do so, please raise your hand. You'll be recognized. And Monette, do you see the applicant?
Yes, the architect, Jeff Farrell. Oh, there you go. He raised his hand. He's available.
Thank you. Mr. Farrell, please unmute yourself and you're ready to comment. Thank you.
Thanks, Monet. No further comments. We agree with the presentation and think it was very well stated.
All right, and I assume you've read the resolution and you understand the conditions of approval.
You're not muted, Jeff. You can just go ahead.
Thanks. We have read those.
He said we have read those.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to hear
Right.
you for some reason, Jeff. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I can yell.
Thank you. All right. Now it's opportunity for the public to comment. If you wish to do so, please raise your hand and you'll be recognized. I see one. Wade Eckel, I believe.
So you'll receive a prompt, Mr. Eckel, and when you answer it, you'll be able to unmute.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to comment. Yes, I submitted extensive written comments for the record, which were just summarized. I'd also want to bring the attention to the zoning administrator. This project actually was approved by the Fountain Grove 2 East Architectural Review Committee, which enforces the CCNRs for this neighborhood way back in November of 2019. I would note that those were the original plans. To the best of my ability, I found no evidence that the property owner nor the applicant has submitted any revised applications for review and approval from the Architectural Review Committee for any changes, including these unpermitted changes. And arguably the project as it is, which has essentially been appears to be abandoned, there's been no active construction on site for a number of months, is arguably currently non-compliant with the CCNRs for this neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other member of the public in attendance that wishes to comment? If so, please raise your hand. All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing on this item. And so at this point, I do have a couple questions for the project planner. So the application before us is really for the minor change proposed on the footprint of the building, extending into that green area, which was not previously considered in the former house. And it is. Can you show us that exhibit, Lynette, again?
Sure. Okay. So that area in the green is where the lot's disturbing slope more than 10%. Let me see if, okay. So yes, so this area is the new, as you can see, the house was staying out of that sloped area. So
And
this triangle is the only change addition, and the porch is cantilevered, so it will not disturb the slope more than 10%.
would this house or this project come before the zoning administrator requesting a hillside development permit if that additional area into the slope had not been part of the project?
Because it would not come to the city if it was not expanding into area that was not
Okay.
previously disturbed. Yeah.
Okay. And can you, regarding the appellant's statement regarding CC, the Fountain Grove 2 Homeowner Association review of the project, what's the city's practice regarding development of homes in areas under a homeowner association CCNR? Does the city accept applications prior to approval by HOAs or CCNRs review?
Not 100% sure. In the past, I believe we had like approval letters from CCNRs, but recently I don't see we get any approval letters from CCNR. Based on what I have heard, the city does not get involved with those CCNRs or homeowners association.
Okay. All right. And in terms of CEQA review, can you explain the CEQA and how this falls within environmental review under CEQA?
So the CEQA exempts projects that are containing single families. The property that is like a zoned or already developed with a single family. This property is already developed for single family, and the new addition is to a previously approved single family and is a very minor and negligible. Also, the house, the area for the house was already disturbed, and the new area that's being added added, it can be screened with the trees, cluster of trees around the house. Let me go back to how so the previous house was already screened with the trees. We have added a condition to add more landscaping around the house. So the new foundation addition can also be screened from the house, similar to what it was there before. But per the CEQA 15303, minor additions to the house are exempt from CEQA review.
Thank you. Thank you. And also thank you for pointing out the condition of approval for landscaping. And that would be a part of the building permit when it gets issued. It would be a requirement of the building permit prior to occupancy that landscaping would be planted. Is that correct?
I believe they have to show on the building plans that they are planting landscaping in that area, providing landscaping and trees in that area.
All right. And then finally, and thank you for your comments, responses. Finally, is it not one of the primary objectives of the hillside development permit to help avoid or minimize any visual impacts from public places such as the streets? And I see that you can you just speak a little bit about that in terms of
So current, one of the finding is, okay, I need to read if you give me a second, I have to find my resolution. I believe I explained that in my reso. Let me see.
yes, finding a, and I'll read it out actually.
Okay.
Site planning minimizes the visual prominence of the hillside development by taking advantage of existing features for screening, including tree clusters, depressions, and topography, setback hillside, plateau, arrears, and other natural features, in that the proposed addition is screened by existing vegetation. Additionally, proposed addition and modification to the driveway will not result in any building height or visual change. So it is you do address it. I think the condition.
Also condition C.
Correct. Correct. So I think the hillside development permit in this place was triggered by that additional area added with the enclosure. And it is minor in terms of the overall footprint of the building or floor area of the building that was approved. The city's hillside development permit has a series of findings that address visual as well as visual impacts, as well as slope impacts of development in hillside areas such as this. I think you provided
And
evidence.
Mr. Gustafson, I'm sorry, can I ask one more thing? While I was doing a site visit there, I noticed that there are houses on a hill that some of them are destroyed, but some of them are being rebuilt. They have similar conditions, like because they are on the hills, they have to add a large foundation to be able to put the house in the hills.
Right.
So there are some similar developments in that area.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with you. It's landscape screening for foundations and building massing on hillsides, a very common remedy to that public view impact, and I think appropriately applied in this instance. So I will approve as proposed your recommended hillside development permit, noting the screening condition number 6, as well as the other typical conditions regarding construction activities and development according to, and grading, I should add, according to the approved plans. Thank you very much for your presentation. This matter may be appealed, and it would be, the end of the appeal period is August 30th at 5 p.m. All right, let's go on to the next matter, which is item 4.2. It's a conditional use permit and condition and design review for 2558 Dakota Avenue. This was continued from our previous meeting. And the project planner is Kristen A. Timmons. Christine, if you can give us an update where we are with this project.
Thank you, Mr. Gustafson. This is Courtney Estates, the proposed revisions to lot 21 and 22 of a planned development project. It was continued from August 5th. Just to remind you and the audience, the plan development included two sub-areas, sub-area A and sub-area B. Sub-area A is primarily preserved wetland area. It allowed for a small number of residential units, and sub-area B is a mostly suburban style development. The sub-area A allowed for a total of 6 units, while sub-area B allows for 54 units. The applicant is requesting to move 2 units from sub-area A to sub-area B for the purpose of consolidating the duplex units onto 2 lots instead of 4 lots. This is what the original plan that included the 8 affordable units on 4 lots. The applicant is proposing to consolidate the 8 units onto 2 lots. It would allow for a better management of the units that are required to be rental units by the HAP agreement. This is the proposed site plan showing those 2 lots. And the proposed floor plans. And the elevations. And the applicant, at your request, submitted a memo, and it's titled City Ventures Courtney Estates Memo. It was submitted on August 10th. And it provided reasons for the need to consolidate those affordable housing units. And I'll let the applicant comment in more detail, but as far as my reading of it, the most compelling evidence was on page 2 of the memo, the first paragraph, where it said that while the project was approved in 2006, since then, a change to requirements in stormwater treatment have required us to reduce the size of all lots to accommodate 13,207 square feet of stormwater treatment area. This forced us to reduce interior lot sizes, making lots 28 and 38, which originally had inclusionary duplexes, too small to fit that housing type. Lots 20 and 21, which can be larger due to their location away from storm treatment areas, are the only 2 lots large enough to accommodate the inclusionary housing. Due to the smaller lot sizes, dispersing rental units would force us to reduce the number of for sale homes on the site by 2 to 3 homes, which would reduce revenue by approximately $2 million, eliminating any investment returns and creating a negative net margin. So to me, that was the most compelling evidence in the memo, that the stormwater treatment is compelling the need to consolidate those units. And in addition, this matter was brought up to the city housing department, and they had no issues with consolidating those rental units onto 2 lots. So with that, Samantha Hauser the applicant, Samantha Hauser, is available to delve in further into the memo that was provided, and I can also answer any questions.
Thank you, Christine, and I don't have any additional questions. Appreciate your summarizing and highlighting the critical finding regarding financial feasibility and the need for the clustering of the affordable units. I now offer the opportunity for the applicant or the applicant's agent to comment on this. So if you wish to do so, please raise your hand.
Hi, Mr. Gustafson. Thank you so much for hearing our item again, and thank you very much to staff for all of the time that they've spent reviewing the materials that we've provided and that you had requested. We're mostly just here to answer any questions that you have. We have Amanda Monchamp and Ron Jones from Hunt Hill Jones here as well. Amanda Monchamp is our attorney from Monchamp and Meldrum, who also provided the land use memo as part of the materials. And then, just to reiterate what Kristen said, this project was approved in 2006 for 60 homes. The biggest change since then is the requirements to stormwater treatment. The project was approved prior to stormwater LID requirements that were initiated by the North Coast Regional Water Quality Control Board and the city in 2013. So it's, it kind of just creates this ripple effect throughout the project. And again, happy to answer any more questions about that, but we really mostly just appreciate your time and your thought.
Thank you. And I'll also say, I think the matter or the issues, or sorry, the memo you provided addresses the issues that I expressed last time about the modification to the affordable housing component of this. And the financial statement you provided, I think provides a good background of what's at discussion here. Is there any member in the audience who wishes to comment at this time on this matter? If so, please raise your hand and you'll be recognized. I see Canel Rouser, I believe. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Please be recognized.
Hi there, my name is Chanel Roser. I live in the Fox Hollow development that's just going to be adjacent to this new community. I'd just like to readdress something that hasn't been brought up this meeting, but was brought up the last meeting. There is a concern about Vintage Group taking over as the HOA, and I would like that to be addressed. There was someone representing City Ventures that said that they would follow up with us about those concerns. No one has, but as a homeowner here in Fox Hollow, I can tell you that Vintage Group can't even handle the development here. I don't have faith that they're going to be able to take care of a new development, and that's my concern.
Thank you. Is there any other member of the public in attendance that wishes to comment? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none, I close the public hearing on this. So at the core of this meeting or this item was a question of financial reasons for the need to consolidate the previously dispersed affordable units in the subdivision that was previously approved. The modification would cluster those. That issue or matter was fully addressed by the applicant's memo explaining the financial circumstance that necessitates the concentration or clustering of those in the two lots. All the other findings related to the changes, including the similarity of the buildings, the fit and finish of those affordable units, and the modification does in fact fully comply with the original intent of the approved map. This project, I know will go forward and the applicants will be able to develop it, and I hope we'll manage it in a way that'll become a attribute and elevate the community. So I know they have a vested interest in ongoing maintenance of the facility. So with regard to the neighbor's comment regarding ongoing management, I'm very confident that it'll be maintained very well. So with that additional information and the resolution before us with the findings presented and the conditions of approval that were recommended, I am pleased to approve this project. And again, note that if anyone should wish to appeal this determination, you have until the end of the day, August 30th, to do so. So again, thank you much, the project team, for working to bring this one forward and moving it towards construction. Thank you. All right, let's go on to the next item, item 4.3, the conditional use permit for 122 Talbot Avenue. And it is a fence in a side yard corner setback. And the project planner is Adam Ross. Adam?
Thank you, Mr. Zoning Administrator. Let me switch up my background here really quick. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to open up a presentation that I am entering into the public record now. It just incorporates the project files that were uploaded online. So it's just images of those for better representation. Okay, do you see that? Sorry.
Yes, we can
Yeah.
see that, Adam.
Excellent. Okay, so the
I couldn't
project
find
is,
my mute button.
that's okay. The project is located at 122 Talbot Avenue. Project name is roughly Talbot Fence. It is a request for a 6-foot fence in a side corner setback. 3 feet of, it includes 3 feet of solid wood fencing on the base and 3 feet of wire fencing above that. So 3 feet of the solid, 3 feet of the wire mesh fencing within the vision triangle section. And then it extends to the northern part of the western part of the property. So where the garage is. And then there's just a solid 6 foot for the remainder. And it is set back 3 feet behind the sidewalk with landscaping to be provided between the sidewalk and the fence. So here's a site plan. This is a new garage under review with building permit and an ADU above it. So here's the existing driveway with the gate that is rolled that would go in here. This is a 3 foot setback between the sidewalk here. And in this section, the next slide I'll show you is where that wire mesh fencing is. So here's the vision triangle as shown here. And in this section and exceeding to the end of the property will be the 3 foot with wire mesh fencing, as well as this location here for the 3 feet in wire mesh fencing. I'm sorry, so here it is. So going back, just to show you, this is the 3 feet in wire mesh fencing, and then the rest here is the solid 6 foot fencing. Most of that's to accommodate a separate yard for the new ADU to be provided, as well as to just update the property and deter any sort of nuisance thefts that potentially go on in this area. So here's some images of what that wood fencing would look like. And then here's that 3 feet of solid with 3 feet of wire mesh fencing above it. So then you can see in this image too, it shows how that kind of connects to an existing solid wood fencing for, and again, that's for compliance with the vision triangle for driveways entering into the public right of way. With that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator approve the 6-foot fence and a side corner setback for the property located at 122 Talbot Avenue. And I just want to reiterate what was on the notice is that this project complies with CEQA guidelines section with a class 4 exemption in that the proposed project is an accessory structure such as a fence. So that is, I'm sorry, 15303. So that's a class 3 exemption in that it's an accessory appurtenant structure, which includes garages, carports, patios, swimming pools, and fences. And that concludes my presentation. I know that the applicant and owner is in attendance as well.
Thank you. Does the applicant or agent wish to comment at this point? Please raise your hand.
Mr. Gustafson, can you, excuse me, can you hear me?
Yeah, very well. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. My name is Stephen Haas. I'm available for questions only. I appreciate the staff work, and Mr. Ross worked with him closely to address the concerns related to the vision triangle. And I think the findings pretty much explain and justify the request. Thank you.
Sorry, Andy, you're on mute.
Thank you. Is there any member of the public that wishes to comment on this matter? If so, please raise your hand. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. All right, Adam, I think a couple questions. One, there's a what I think is a 2-story structure garage, first floor, second unit on the top. Is that an application or a building permit submitted with the city at this time?
Yes, it is.
And I guess the only other concern I have, and I apologize, was there any consideration with regard to how, when that gate is closed and a vehicle wishes to enter the garage, how will that take place with the vehicle not sitting, projecting into and across the sidewalk into the street? Ordinarily, these side yard fences are intended to enclose a rear yard area, typically not providing also garage driveway access, with rare exception I can think of. So that's just one question, and maybe I can ask the applicant owner if they've anticipated that, because it appears that a fence is 3 feet from the back of sidewalk. And a car typically, if we think about a parking space, is like 18 feet minimum, 16 feet minimum. So is that going, how will that work when somebody comes to the property and wishes to park in the garage?
And just to answer before Stephen adds in, the setback for the garage still meets the 19-foot standard.
Right.
So that's kind of why there's no enforcement on any further setback or anything like that. They provided the 3-foot landscape setback. And upon closure, it does provide, I believe, 17 feet from garage face to that closed gate portion.
Right, and that's and thank you for addressing the minimum 19-foot setback between the garage door and the back of sidewalk. And also, I think you call attention to the fact that the closed gate the area that remains between the closed gate and the garage door is tight, but it will accommodate a car. My concern is when that gate is closed and somebody comes to the property, is it going to then leave a car hanging out across the property? And I think I have the answer to that, but I just want to have the applicant speak to that point.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know that Adam mentioned in this, there is an existing garage on the property that's substandard right now. And there's a gate there. This is a very unique corner lot in that the garage takes access from Talbot, even though the front door of the property is from Fair Oaks. So in the existing condition today, you would, and the current gate, for good or not, opens out, you would have to pull, you'd have to stop your car. And the gate today, when it opens up outward to the edge of the back of sidewalk. The actual condition will be improved by this because you'll be able to pull in a little bit farther now to open the gate. But today you would have to stage your car across the sidewalk while you open the gate, and based upon the existing condition. And this would actually enable the car to be pulled in, there'd be from the edge of curb to the edge of the gate in the new fence, and the new gate would be 11 feet, because that gate now, instead of opening out or in, rolls to the side, which allows also a car to be pulled in and parked behind the gate on the private property. So I think from looking at it from the existing condition today, the existing garage, which really is substandard and could not really be, I looked at it for the possibility of putting the ADU there, because it only has a 1.5 foot side setback to the property to the east. Give me kind of a benefit to that pre-existing condition and pre-existing setback. But that structure is really could not be rehabilitated given the structural requirements and the geology there. If you, on the building plan, there's substantial foundation that has to be built to do a 2-story structure, well beyond what's there today.
Thank you so much for that. I can see that on the plan. The existing fence is depicted, and that existing potential, call it encroachment upon the street. And it sounds like you worked out a practical solution to the gate rather than having it swinging outward. You have a rolling gate, which won't diminish the usable area on the site as someone strives to enter it. So thank you for that. That's very helpful to me. Based on the resolution presented and the evidence in the record, I do agree that this side yard setback reduction for the proposed fence will not be detrimental and injurious to the people living and working in the area. The design is sensitive to the area. There are circumstances here that justify the continued enclosure of the rear yard area, and I'm pleased to approve this conditional use permit or minor use permit for the setback reduction for a fence in the side yard at 122 Talbot. Thank you very much, Adam. And we go on to item number 4.4. And you are the project planner again, and this is a design review for 1511 Range Avenue.
Yes, and I have just a quick, another quick presentation for you. And does that look normal to you?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this is the minor design review for a new fence at the property located at 1511 Range Avenue. It actually spans across the frontage, which includes 1511 to 1539 Range Avenue. It's the installation of a new metal 6-foot wrought iron fence or tube steel tube steel fence, 2 new metal pedestrian gates, and 1 double vehicular gate at the entrance on Rage Avenue. And I'll show what that looks like in the next couple slides. So again, this is just an aerial image of where this new fencing is located. There's already an existing fence around the property, which is pretty typical to the multifamily uses properties in the area. Here's a blow up of that Range Avenue and the frontage. So it goes across here and it's depicted, and it's 20 feet behind the back of curb for fire truck standards, and it opens inward, and then it goes along here. There is one caveat here, is in that earlier it was noticed that the setback for the new fence is 8.5 feet, and the zoning code requires 10 feet. And in order to not have to come back with a minor use permit for a fence greater than 3 feet in a residential front setback, is that staff will be recommending a condition of approval stating that the fence shall be set back 10 feet behind the back of sidewalk. That was already discussed with the project applicant, and they accepted those terms. And here is the fence examples. So wrought iron or tube steel fencing, very typical. You could see through it, so it's not a big block wall cutting it off. The 2 pedestrian access gates, or as shown here, and this is the type of electric fence opening for vehicular access here. Similar to the previous project, it does comply with CEQA guideline section 15303 in that it's a fence which is accessory and appurtenant to the main use, which is the multifamily residential project. And with that, the zoning and planning and economic development department recommends that the zoning administrator approve the minor design review for the new fence for the property located at 1511 Range Avenue.
Thank you, Adam. The applicants in attendance, if you wish to comment, please raise your hand. Eric Forstall, please be recognized. Need to unmute yourself, I believe. There you go.
Just popped up. Hi, how are all of you doing today? I hope everyone's well. So we've been working on this property for several years now, doing improvements. We're really excited about this improvement, adding this fencing along the sidewalk. Me and Adam did talk a little while ago about increasing the setback from the back of the fence, which does give us the 5 feet around the perimeter of the buildings, which is what we do want to keep that, maintain that. Otherwise, Adam touched on everything that we want on that front. I do have one question that came up recently. I'd like to, Adam, if you can go back to your presentation to where you showed the aerial image of the property.
1 second, I'm going to pull it up right now.
Okay. Yes, I've got a question for you. So as Adam mentioned on this map at the southern end on Jennings, if you're able to zoom in on that, you'll, yeah, down there on the southern end on Jennings Avenue, we have an existing fence right there. It'll keep going down Jennings, where you see 152 and 523. Keep going down south on Jennings to the left. Right there, that little blue line. We have an existing fence right there on the blue line on Jennings Avenue. We have an existing fence right there. And what we were curious, since that's an existing fence, we have to go through the encroachment permit process for this, but we would like to see if we can include the approval of the gate and the fence that we're using here on Range Avenue to also include the future improvements that we would do right there on that existing fence off of Jennings. If that's too much trouble, then we'll just exclude it. But we were kind of curious if we could slip that in right now as well. We would like to do the same 6-foot wrought iron tube steel fencing there with a gate. We'd have to go through an encroachment permit process through that. I'm not sure how that would work, but I was just seeing if we could avoid going through design review on that on Jennings Avenue. If that's not possible, then we'll forego it. But otherwise, everything else is fine.
All right, well, thank you. I'll address your comment or question there in a moment. But before I do, I want to give opportunity for the public to comment. If there are any in attendance who wish to do so, please raise your hand. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing on this matter. All right. So first I'll say I think the proposed fence continues to be the fence exhibits excellent quality and design consideration that continues to demonstrate the property owner's commitment to improving the property. So that I commend you for that, and the city encourages what you're doing. So thank you for that. The question regarding can we expand today's action to include the fencing along, I think you said Jennings, or beyond what was noticed. Unfortunately, we cannot. The project description is really all we can act on today, and the project description was limited to that the fence on Range Avenue only. Unfortunately, if you do want to seek a similar fence setback on the other side, that you will have to come back. I apologize, but that's really a due process principle, court principle. So with that, based on the application materials and the resolution prepared for this project and the recommended conditions of approval, I'm pleased to approve this project. And with that, that was the last item on our agenda today. So I can adjourn this meeting at 11:28, August 19th. Thank you all for attending and have a great day.